Hello, my beautiful people. Yes, I can see my special brother, Kai. I owe you a lot, oh. Mr. Roland, I owe you plenty nkwobi. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Mother's Day to your wife, to your mom, to all the special women. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the special women who are pushing things. Please say hello in the comments. I'm just seeing two comment section from my special brother who is my biggest cheerleaders in this Canada, number one supporter. Okay, yeah, let me read your comments. He said the number of temporary workers I've met on your trips to Brandon, it's unbelievable. This RCIP in a big battle. It is well, oh. Yes, so Mr. Wabweze, thank you. Mr. Roland, thank you. Joy, thank you for joining me. Nancy, thank you for joining me. Apata, Timothy, thank you for joining me. Happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day to you, Nancy. I say sorry. Happy Mother's Day. I wasn't saying Happy Mother's Day to Apata, Timothy. Sorry, please don't be offended. Happy Mother's Day to Joy. Happy Mother's Day to Nancy. Happy Mother's Day to Miriam. Diaspora parties. Hey, Joe, please invite me. Oh, I'm a boring person when it comes to parties. I don't know what's going on. Like, I can be in one place and just be inside my house and not go anywhere. For the past 9 years, I can only count one birthday party that I attended. Only one. 9 years in Canada, and I've attended only one birthday party. Please, shame they catch me. As I'm saying this, I'm ashamed of myself. I'm a social person, but I don't know why I'm always like indoors, kind of. Okay, so welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm so happy that you all are here as we try to analyze the recent updates concerning ROCIP. Oh, that's properties. Thank you so much. Thank you for sending the person my way. Oh, Timothy, please invite me. Invite me for your parties. If you're in New Brunswick, please invite me for your parties. That is if I will push myself to attend. God will help my life. Patrick Kitamirike, happy Mother's Day. You are tired of Kampala? Don't worry, all will be well. Design Hunter, hey. Happy Mother's Day to all of us who are mothers, who are trying to push things, and and to our fathers that have been supportive. I want to say a very big thank you for being supportive, because without your support, I mean, it's not be easy for all of us who are mothers and wives and daughters. It will not be easy. So I thank you to the fathers, to the husbands, to the brothers. Thank you all of you for your support, to all the ladies in your lives. I want to say a very big thank you. Okay, so I won't waste too much time today because I know that there will be lots of questions. I'm just going to give a brief summary of all the RCIP updates. And then we'll talk about the job offers, although my brother has already dropped a comment, which I'm going to talk about because it's very, very tough. And then designated employers, all of them, everything. Happy Mother's Day, Bimbola. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, so let me not waste too much of your time. Let's just go straight to the topic of today, which is the ROCIP communities. As you are aware, 18 communities were selected. Out of the 18, 5 of them are Francophone, and then we have 14 that are English speaking. And for the English speaking one, you still have some communities that are also Francophone. So for example, Timmins is also Francophone and Anglophone. That's English and French. So it's on both sides. You have the English side and you have the French side. I think Sudbury is also part of the English and French. Then you have these other smaller communities that they added in Manitoba, St. Pierre Jolie, one in New Brunswick here. What's the name of that community again? Is jumping off my head. Okay, so one in New Brunswick, one in British Columbia, those Francophone communities. And then we have the others, the original communities that were part of the original RNIP. So out of all of them, the last update I talked about Saskatchewan as a no-go. Saskatchewan is totally cancelled out. Like, they put it on their website that they don't have the funds to execute the ROCIP program. So because of that, it's a no-go. Nobody should bother about Saskatchewan. And Saskatchewan has been funny these days, you know, to the extent of them revoking people's nominations after they had received it. Didn't make any sense. Or revoking people's applications after they had invited them to submit an application for provincial nomination. Saskatchewan is just being funny these days, and I just feel somehow for people living in Saskatchewan, I don't know how they'll be able to, you know, navigate their way to get PR, especially with limited options in Saskatchewan. Okay, so Saskatchewan is out. Let's focus on the ones that are available. Steinbach has published their list of priority occupations. That is the latest one that I know. The ones that I published on my YouTube channel, I know I published Timmins. Sault Ste. Marie, they've also published their list of priority occupations plus occupations that they need in demand. Timmins, they have published their list of designated employers. And I don't know if I did publish it on this YouTube channel, but if I did it, I'll put it up again. But I think I did. I can't remember. I think I did. Then Thunder Bay has published their list of designated employers. There are about how many again? I can't remember. About 20 employers, thereabout 20 employers. So what is happening is actually I have somebody who is compiling these things for me, and the person has not done the complete compilation. So once it is complete, I will just put a link where you can, you know, download the information. That's the analysis, so that you have easy access to it. That will be a one-off thing I can do for everybody, as in list of designated employers, list of communities, what they are looking for. So you have everything in one place, so that you don't jump from one to another to another to another. Then as they keep updating, I'll be updating that particular link so that you can have access to it. I hope I just do that for my community people, so that everybody have it in one place, instead of jumping from Timmins to Thunder Bay and then you're getting confused. Okay, so Brandon has published their list of occupations that they need, but they have not published their designated employers. And they have not published their designated employers because they are saying that for you to be a designated employer, you must have advertised the job with the government job bank for at least 1 month, and you do not find any person to take the job offer. That's what Brandon says. That's one of the requirements for employers in their community. I am saying this because he's my very good friend from this community as well. He reached out to me because he's trying to help somebody, and he knows an employer that is also looking for people, and he wanted to see how we could make the person get a designation, which I'm going to talk about later. Especially for those who have employers but are not yet designated. I'll tell you how you can go about it. So this particular person in Brandon, he has a business. He's looking for people, and this other guy who is also a community member here reached out to him, and then we spoke, and I was able to tell him what the requirements were, because I had to look at what the requirements for Brandon was. For Brandon, they said you must have advertised the job on the government job bank, and if you don't have anybody taking the job offer, then you can use evidence to show that, okay, there is nobody taking the job in Canada before you cannot apply for designation. So that's the requirement for Brandon. So if you have people, especially my brother who is in Brandon, if you have people in Brandon who are employers who would want to employ people, tell them to advertise the jobs on job bank. And then if there is evidence that there is nobody taking the jobs in job bank, they cannot apply for designation in Brandon. But the employers must have at least operated their business for 2 years. Like, the business must be operating for 2 years. That's the minimum criteria for all the other communities as well. The business must have been operating for 2 years. If the business is operating less than 2 years, I don't think they will get their designation, right? So in as much as they've published some communities have published their list, does not mean that that is the total list, because more employers can also get designation. So for now, the focus is how many employers have gotten designation. Which communities? Like I said, Timmins have gotten theirs. Sault Ste. Marie, I think Sault Ste. Marie. Am I mixing it up? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I know for Timmins, I know for Thunder Bay, I know for Let me just quickly check if Sault Ste. Marie has gotten theirs so that I don't tell you something wrong. And yeah. Yeah, so Sault Ste. Marie, they have, and then if I look at the last year's, okay, that's good, my brother. Well done. That's good. That's good. Okay, so for Sault Ste. Marie, yes, they published their list of designated employers. Now, the battle for getting a job offer from a designated employer is very high, especially for those who are not living in these communities. If you're not living in Thunder Bay, if you're not living in Brandon, if you're not living in Sault Ste. Marie or Timmins or Sudbury or North Bay, I think North Bay, they've also published their priority. In fact, most of the communities have published their priority occupations, but not all have published their designated employers. So it becomes difficult if you're not living in these communities, but not that it is so difficult. And I'm going to tell you why I am saying this, because when RNIP was published, in as much as RNIP was published in Canada, and it was expected that people in Canada should take advantage of the opportunity and get job offers, but the truth is, there were people who got job offers from outside and came in with RNIP. There were lots of people who got job offers from outside Canada and they came in while people in Canada were still struggling and trying to see how figure things out for themselves. So my advice is, in as much as there is high competition, according to my brother, there are lots of temporary residents looking for spots under RNIP, ROCIP, FCIP. Those who are outside Canada, you don't say, oh, okay, there are too many people who are still looking for opportunities, let me not bother. Don't relax, because like I said, there are still people who are outside Canada that are still getting job offers from outside Canada. And I'm going to tell you where these people are residing. Number one, people in the UK, especially people in the UK with personal support worker experience or care experience. At least to the best of my knowledge, 4 people have gotten job offers that brought them in under the former RNIP. Now, the RCIP has just started. If I'm talking about just 4 people that I know, not to talk of other people that I don't know that were able to get job offers under RNIP that came, I'm just trying to let you know that you should not be discouraged in searching for job opportunities, connecting with these employers, and getting job offers from these employers. If they like you and they want you, you get the job. If they don't want you, you move on to the next person. I know that it's not easy competing with people who are inside already, but there is no harm in trying, because if you try and the person who is inside does not even meet the criteria, they will take you who is outside and you get the job offer and you're good to go. So that's the only advice I can give. Not just yeah, I'm gonna get to that as well, my brother. So not just saying, oh, okay, and there are too many personal, although I know that there are too many personal support workers in Canada already. I think I mentioned it in my Instagram page. But that does not mean that support workers who are outside Canada, especially those who have their experience from the UK, not Nigeria, because if you have your experience from Nigeria, it's difficult to convince, right? But if you have your experience from the UK, you can convince a Canadian employer, they can give you a job offer. Is it easy to get? I'm not saying it's easy to get, but then put yourself out there. If you put yourself out there, there's a possibility that you could get the job. I just mentioned that I know 4 people who got job offers from the UK, and they are coming in through this pathway, through these different pathways that have PR options. So if you are already in Canada and you're finding it difficult, then you should be asking yourself, what are you doing that is different from what those who are outside Canada do? Like, how are they getting these jobs? They are outside Canada, they are getting the jobs that is helping them to apply for permanent residency. And then you are in Canada, you are still struggling to see how you can get these jobs. Then there's a problem, there's a disconnection somewhere, because that's the way I see it. Okay, so that's it. If you're outside Canada, do not relent. If you're in Canada, double your hustle. Like, look for opportunities in all of the ROCIP communities. If you have PSW experience, go ahead. But one thing you should also notice is that in most of these communities, it's not just PSW alone. In fact, it's like the level of PSW, the demand for PSW has even reduced compared to before, right? There are opportunities for administrative officers, there are opportunities for data analysts, tech people, construction, like different types of occupation, education. If you are an early childhood educator, you have the necessary. Oh, that reminds me now. I remember that I was supposed to do a video, which I have. Oh God, I beg you. God, I beg for my life, because the pressure, the how will I call it now? There's a lot of pressure on me. So there are a lot of things that I have still not done, especially the ones I promised that I said I was going to do, that the videos I said I was going to create. I've not created them. I just remember the early childhood education one now, which probably I should just do a live video instead of creating a video. It's like creating a video is taking my time. So let me just do a live video to clear that depth out of my way. So back to what I was saying. Early childhood educators, they are looking for those people. So if you have early childhood education experience, like standard experience, and you have the certification, you can actually convert your certification. There are processes, there are provinces that allow you to convert your qualifications. If you're a teacher, there are provinces that allow you get the teacher qualification license in Canada. You could use that to, secure job offers in those remote communities that are looking for early childhood educators or teachers, right? So if you are outside Canada, you're in Canada, look at the occupation priority list, which I said I'm going to compile into one document so that everybody has access to it instead of you jumping from one website to another. Then look at the ones that aligns and put your resume properly and then start submitting. Like I typically advise all the time, it is better to call the employers to eliminate the ones that will not hire you than just submitting random resumes online. Call the employers. When you call them, it will automatically eliminate if they're interested or not. So you don't waste your time. Now, I know that some people will say it's difficult getting the employer's number. If you go to their website, you will see their number. If you check their Facebook page, some employers do not have websites. They have Facebook pages. That is standard, especially for small employers with maybe one or two, what do you call it now? 1 or 2 employees, right? They have Facebook pages. They might not have Instagram page, but they will have Facebook page. They are also on Yelp. If there's a website called Yelp, yelp.ca, right? Just put their details on yelp.ca. You will see their numbers. You will see their phone numbers. Call them. And I know my brother has suggested apps that you can use to call from outside Canada. If you're outside Canada, he suggested some apps one time. There was one live video I did, and he mentioned the apps that you could use to call from outside Canada. Just call those people, discuss with them. When you're calling them, don't be doing pitch yourself to them and hear what they have to say. If they say no, I'm sorry, then you cut the call and move on to the next person. Don't waste your time. So that's the best advice I can give when it comes to reaching out to these employers to get job offers. Because if you just sit down and package your resume and submit, it's not working. It's not working like before. Okay, yes, Dingtone calls from Dingtone. Maybe I'll take note of that because I've been using Reptel anyway. I use Reptel. I don't know whether Reptel is also acceptable. So Dingtone calls from outside Canada. You can use that Dingtone app. Yeah, happy Mother's Day. Thank you. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Call the employers, right? That's one. Then number 2 strategy, because you already have some communities that have updated their website with the list of designated employers yet already, does not mean that there are not employers that can hire you and that can participate. Doesn't mean that other employers cannot participate. They can participate. As long as they will be able to meet the requirements, the employers that will be able to meet all the necessary requirements in that community can always get their names updated on the list of designated employers. So for instance, let's say all the employers you've been trying to connect with on the designated employers list are not giving you any feedback, right? You can look for an employer that is not on the designated employers list, because some of these employers, they don't even know any of these kind of programs. They don't even know anything concerning immigration. They don't, like, I have met people, like which day? On Monday, I went to do my eyes. I went to see an optician, like to do and all of that. And she was asking me questions about what I do. I was telling her about my job. And she was asking me some questions that I was like, are you not in this Canada? Like, why are you asking me this kind of question? Don't you know that Canada is an immigration-based country? She was asking me, like, okay, so how do you help people? Like, how do you, like, I was like wondering, so this employer self does not even know anything concerning immigration. So you will see employers like that. Now, if you see an employer like that who does not know anything about Canadian immigration, some of them are not interested. They don't want to go through the stress. Sometimes when they hear immigration, they think they're going to be paying $10,000 to bring somebody in. Meanwhile, they are struggling. They are looking for employees and they are struggling. No, it's not that they will spend that money to bring anybody in. No. The least amount of money they will spend is just $230, and that's the LMIA exemption fee. And that is even after they have gotten their designation, and then you apply for PR, and then you apply for work permit. That's when they pay that $230 LMIA exemption fee, because this RCIP program is LMIA exempt. If they were going to bring people under LMIA, that means they will pay 1,000 Canadian dollars. But like I said, this is a PRO program and it's LMIA exempt. The only thing they are paying for is $230. To get designation is free. It's just them meeting the requirement. Have you established your business for 2 years? Yes. Have you been operating for 2 years? Yes. Do you have a location? Can you just do maybe 1 or 2 what do you call it now? There's a test. Is it test they do? There's a settlement question or settlement something they do just to meet the requirements. So once that is met, then they'll put them on the designated employers list. They are not paying any money to get designated. So if you meet such an employer that wants to hire you but does not know anything about getting designation, it is your responsibility to educate that employer how to get the designation. I know it's not easy to start telling them, oh, you can do this, you can do that. Some of them will want to like ask further questions and they will need an expert, right? They will need an expert to really explain things to them. So we'll say, okay, maybe I will talk to my lawyer and all of that. If you meet an employer like that will tell you, I'll talk to my lawyer, I'll talk to my accountant, you can tell them that you have a consultant that they can talk to that is based in Canada. You can tell them that. I've met people that have contacted me through this way to say, please, even as at yesterday, there's somebody that still wants me to talk to an employer on his behalf. Like, please, can you help me talk to this employer on my behalf? The employer wants to hire me, but he doesn't know how to go about things. And I can talk to them and explain the pathway and let them know this pathway is not going to cost them any dime. The only thing it's going to cost them is just $230. And that is subjective. That is if you, as the individual, decide to say, okay, you want to apply for work permit after you've applied for PR, right? Because it's a 2-in-1 program. You apply for PR first before you apply for your work permit. But if you say, no, you're not applying for work permit, you want to wait till your PR comes before you come and start working for the employer, that means the employer is not spending any money. So if you find yourself in such a situation where you've seen an employer that is not part of the designated employers list, and you feel that the employer meets all the requirements, check the years of operation, number of years the employer has been operating in that community, just check and all of that. And if the employer is desperate to hire you, you can tell them this is an option of how they can bring you in or how they can help you without necessarily paying any money for anything. They are not paying to LMIA, ESDC for LMIA. They are not paying anything. They are just regularizing things so that you can come in as a permanent resident and you can work for them. This is also applicable to people who are in Canada. So if you are in Canada, I know somebody told me that they moved to Steinbach and they are trying to get an employer to hire them under as a designated employer, right? So if you are part of the people who are in Canada, moving from one province to another or one community to another with the hopes of getting a designated employer, and you find yourself in a situation where you are working for an employer that does not know the process, but that's the word I will use, because some of them do not know the process. They'll just say, I'm not interested. It is your responsibility to try to educate them about the process or look for an expert that can educate them about the process so that you don't miss out on that opportunity. And if after you found an expert that educates them on the process, or you can even call the community coordinator, right? So all these programs, the RCIP programs for each community, they have their community coordinators. You can give the community coordinator's number to that employer. Let them talk with the coordinators directly, not even a third-party consultant, so that it doesn't look like, oh, you are telling them somebody can convince them. No, let them talk to the coordinators. That's the ROCIP community coordinators for each of these communities. Let them talk to them directly and have an understanding of what the program is about, so that if they're interested, fine. If they're not interested, then you already know that this employer is not even interested. Then you find your way and look for another employer that can support your process, because there's no point wasting time with an employer that is not willing to support you in the first place, right? There's no point. Look for another employer that can support your process. So that's the strategy I would say people should adopt. Look for employers that are not designated and tell them the process. If they're interested, connect them with the community coordinators, let them call or email. And when they get the process, they can also start the designation process and all of that. Some employers are very, very supportive. Like, they are supportive in the sense that they've tried, they've not seen anybody. And once they see one person that they have hired, they'll rather want to maintain that person than go through the stress of trying to look for another employer, or look for another employee rather, because hiring people is money. Recruitment is money. It's not easy. It's not cheap. Okay, so that's one strategy. The next strategy is this. People should not just focus on just the communities themselves. You focus on the boundaries as well. So let me give an example. Now, Brandon is one of the ROCIP communities, right? That's what they mentioned. Now, a lot of people will focus their job search on Brandon, but that should not be your strategy. Your strategy should be the communities around Brandon. So there are smaller other communities around Brandon that are participating in this ROCIP program as well. They might not have had their status designated yet, but if you find an employer in any of these smaller communities that is surrounding the major community, you can go ahead and talk to them instead of just relying on, oh, let me look for opportunity in Brandon. You might be spending time looking for opportunities in Brandon and it's not giving you any headway. Whereas if you look at the smaller communities around Brandon, there's a possibility of you getting an employer that will want to push things for you. So that's another strategy you should adopt. Don't just focus on, oh, is Brandon? Okay, let me focus on Brandon. Is Steinbach? Okay, let me focus on Steinbach. Is Timmins? Okay, let me focus on Timmins. No. The RCIP program accommodates smaller communities surrounding those major communities. Those major communities are where you have the settlement offices. Like, if you're eventually coming to Canada and you have to go through the settlement process, you meet a settlement officer or a settlement worker in those major communities, especially if you're living in a smaller community, right? But those smaller communities, maybe 30 minutes drive, maybe 1 hour drive. I think there's a kilometer measurement that RCIP put. I can't put whether it's 25 kilometers, I can't really remember, but I know they put a measurement around the communities surrounding the major communities. So don't focus your job search on just the major community. Go to the smaller communities that are surrounding the major communities. And if you see an opportunity there, if there's an employer there that is willing to support you, you can recommend they talk to the community coordinator to learn the process. And then once you get your job offer, you get your designation, you're good to go. Okay, so that's the update I said I would bring concerning this program. And if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat. I will start answering your questions one by one. Let me start with my brother who said that the number of temporary workers I've met on your trips to Brandon, Okanagan, Armstrong, Kelowna, Vernon, Altona, and Steinbach is unbelievable. 7 cities. This RCIP now big battle land for the brave too. So yes, it is a big battle because it favors a lot of people who have issues with language results. Language requirement is very, very low. I think a CLB5 or a CLB4. I can't remember. Very, very low. Language requirement, very, 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 very low, right? And if your school is in that community, you are in luck. That means you are getting additional points. You don't need to have at least prior work experience before you apply for recommendation. All you need is getting a job offer from one of the designated employers, and then you apply for recommendation. So, and I need to mention this, not all these communities have schools. Not all. Like although Steinbach does, but Steinbach school, you hardly see international students in some of, like, I know that there's Red River College in Steinbach, but you hardly see international students except those who are doing piloting programs in Steinbach. Altona does not have any school. So Altona is one of the communities, but it does not have any school. That means it's open to everybody. You could have schooled in Ontario and you get a job offer in Altona, you can move to Altona, right? Same thing with St. Pierre Joly, although St. Pierre Joly is under the Francophone immigration pilot. So you could have schooled anywhere and you get a job offer in those places, you could move to those places, especially. So for those who are in Canada, and if you, let's say, studied in Toronto and it's been difficult getting anything in Toronto, I would say target these ROCIP communities. And funny enough, recently, especially those whose work permit is about to expire, they've not gotten any way of, regularizing their status. Recently, IRCC has extended the letter that they give to people who are trying to extend their status, whether you have gotten a pathway, whether you have LMIA or not. They've now extended that duration. Before it was 6 months. They call it interim authorization letter to work. So that interim authorization letter to work, usually it gives you a 6 months authorization to work, right? But now they have extended it to 1 year. So for those whose work permit is about to expire, if you apply to extend your work permit now, to give you time to see how you can get your PR, you have a 1 year period before IRCC will make a decision, which is a long enough time for you to position yourself to be in these communities that can help you get your PR status under RCIP. Okay, so let me move on to the next question. Okay, please, someone who just finished PSW program, can I apply to any of the designated employers? Then after 1 year with the employer, then eligible for endorsement. So if you finish the PSW program, depends on where you are. You don't need to, if you get a job offer from any of the designated employers, right, you can apply for PRO immediately. Depends on your community. So let's say you finish your PSW in North Bay, you get a job offer from a designated employer in North Bay, then you can apply for community endorsement immediately. You don't need to must have worked with the employer for 1 year. It's those whose work experience from maybe their home country does not align with the job offer that they get. So let me give an example. In your home country, you were working as an administrative officer. Then you came into Canada to study business management. Then after you finish business management, you got a job offer in PSW. You are not eligible to apply for community endorsement because you need at least 1 year work experience as a PSW worker for you to apply. Now, if you you were working as an administrative officer in your home country, you came into Canada to study business administration. You got a job offer as an administrative officer, then you can apply for community endorsement immediately. I hope I am clear. If I'm not clear, please let me know in the comments, or I can repeat myself. So, example, you were working as an administrative officer in your home country. You came to Canada to study business management. This is example 1. You came to Canada to study business management. You got a job offer from a designated employer as a PSW. You will not be able to apply for community endorsement until you get 1 year work experience. But example number 2, you were an administrative officer in your home country. You came into Canada to study business management. You got a job offer as an administrative officer from a designated employer. You can apply for community recommendation immediately and apply for permanent residency immediately. So those are the 2 examples that I've given. Okay, so let me put my brother's comment here. He said, please, people should target occupations outside support work. Yes. Altona will need printers. Yes. Heavy duty equipment mechanics. Yes. Project coordinators. Yes, that's the truth. So, and I'm going to, based on that, I'm going to share a story. I think I've done a live here. I brought her. She actually got her job offer from outside Canada, Altona. She's based in Altona. She has done a live session with me. That was in 2022. Yes, she did a live session with me in 2022 where she talked about her experience, how she was able to get a job offer from Benin in Edo State in Nigeria, in Altona, that brought her in under ROCIP, brought her and her family in under RCIP. Now, the job offer she got was in the printing press area. She was not originally in that line of occupation. She was not. And that time, when RNIP came, I was among the people I'll call town criers. I was among the people that were shouting RNIP, RNIP, RNIP. So what she did was she quickly went to learn the printing press machines. She checked all the communities, right? And then saw that Altona was going to be favorable to her because Altona does not have any school. Brandon has a school in Brandon. So most of the people who schooled in Brandon, Assiniboine College, Brandon University, they will be competing in Brandon. So she now focused on Altona that does not have, a school. Now, you need to know this. Communities that have schools, you will have lots of competition there. Number one, Thunder Bay. There will be a lot of competition in Thunder Bay because there are schools in Thunder Bay. Number two, Sudbury. There will be a lot of competition in Sudbury because there are schools in Sudbury. Sault Ste. Marie, there will be competition there. In fact, probably when I do this my analysis that I'm going to share, the link I'm going to share to everybody, you will see where you should focus on so that you know you don't waste your time. So what she did was to focus her job search in Altona, and she saw that they were looking for press. I don't know what they call them. People binder or bindery or something. They were looking for such people in that category. She didn't have that experience. She was working as something else, and she was working something different entirely. So she quickly went to get that experience and did apprenticeship at the same time in a press printing firm. And she was doing that during COVID. During COVID, she was learning the machines. She was working as an apprentice. She paid them to learn how to use those machines. She learned it perfectly and worked with them. They were she paid them for the training part, and then they started paying her when she was working. And then she used that experience to search for a job in Altona. She got the job offer, and with that, she was able to come into Canada in fact, she came in with work permit, and then 2 months later, they approved her permanent residency in Canada. That was under RNIP. I did a live session with her. If you check one of my YouTube lives almost 2 years ago, you will see her details there, where she talked about what she did. So you can also adapt this strategy, like my brother said. I'm going to put the comment again. Target occupations outside support work. So if you have experience, if you can do heavy duty equipment mechanic, if you can do printing, if you can do project coordination, if you can do anything outside the support work. And support work, like I said, is saturated already. And my brother is also confirming that. It's saturated already. So if you can do anything outside the usual typical support work that everybody is going to, some people are already learning carpentry. Some people are already learning painting and decoration. Anything that you can do to give you the necessary experience within this next 1 year, because this program is for the next 5 years. The only thing I'm concerned about is let them not come and change the priority occupations, because you know how Canada is. You just prepare yourself to meet this one. Next thing, they are changing goalposts, which is sad, right? So prepare yourself, package yourself, and then apply for these jobs. Like I said, call the employers. If you have experience as a heavy-duty mechanic, it's better you call the employers and tell them what you have so that they can hire you. Okay, so I'll move on to the next question. Okay, I'm an early childhood educator and had masters from the UK and experience in nursery from the UK. Okay, perfect. So if you're an early childhood educator, target the communities that are looking for early childhood educators. Number one, Brandon. Brandon is looking for early childhood educators. The other communities, I don't have them off my head, but I know that Brandon is looking for early childhood educators. So target these communities and try to secure a job offer from a designated employer in this community. But of course, you know, early childhood education is a regulated occupation, kind of. So you would need to try to get a certification, which I said I'm going to do a YouTube live instead of me postponing the video. Let me just do a live. So live session for, probably that will be the next live session for early childhood educators, teachers, how you can get your license or certificates while you're still outside Canada, and use it to try to get a job offer in Canada. And of course, you know, childcare is a big deal here. Like, it's a big issue here. And if you're able to get an employer that can hire you, that means you're good to go. And of course, it's part of one of the occupations that is in the category-based selection for express entry. They did a draw, and the draw scores were very low, like 479 or 4 something for educators. So you can either position yourself to come through ROCIP, or you position yourself to come through express entry as an early childhood educator, as a teacher. You can position yourself in these two places. Okay. Next question. Please, for those that have PGD in education or early childhood education certification, can they still apply for category? Yeah, I just talked about it as if I knew that this was going to be the next question. So you can still apply for category-based draw for teachers in express entry, and you can also search for jobs in any of the communities that have what do you call it now? Early childhood education or teaching as part of their jobs. Okay. I am a bus owner in Pictou County and looking for experienced mechanic. So you see, one of my community member is now advertising a job on this live. You are seeing it live job advert. You see, that is why it's good to be part of this community. Live job advert, live one. So experienced mechanic, live job advert. Now this is a live job advert. If you're an experienced mechanic, please reach out. Very important. This is a live job advert. Thank you, and God bless you. Happy Mother's Day to you, my sister. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much. Okay, so next, how do we even know all the smaller communities? So you have to look at the map surrounding those communities. Let's say Brandon, right? Put the brand, pull up the map of Brandon, or just go on Google. What are the Google? Google is being replaced these days by ChatGPT or Gemini or any of these AI whatever search tools. Put which smaller communities are surrounding Brandon. It will pull up. Which small communities are surrounding Steinbach? For Steinbach, I know there's St. Anne. There is where again? I don't know. I know of St. Anne because I lived in St. Anne, and St. Anne is close to Steinbach. So yeah. Okay. Next thing. If PGWP is expiring, how can I extend my status? So I mentioned earlier that if PGWP or work permit is expiring, you can apply for what, although it's not allowed because you do not have what is making you eligible, right? Because you do not have what is making you eligible to apply to extend your status. But people still go ahead and apply to extend their status. Because if they have a pipeline, let's say, or they are in a pipeline, I'll give a live example. So let's say you are expecting an invitation to apply. You are in the express entry pool. Your draw score is 510. You are expecting an invitation to apply, and you've seen that the next draw that they will do will take place in 2 weeks' time. And you are very confident that when they do that next draw, you will be invited to submit your application for permanent residency. And then your work permit is about to expire. Let's say it's expiring today or tomorrow. You can apply to extend your work permit because you already know that by the time they do the next draw, they will invite you. So you can extend your work permit. In your extension explanation, you can explain that I am extending my work permit because I am expecting an invitation to apply. Some people put that explanation, some people don't, but you can decide for yourself. Now you can put the explanation that you are expecting an invitation to apply. After that, once you submit your permanent residence, you update your application with evidence that you submitted your application for permanent residence so that they can convert your application, your work permit extension application, to a bridging open work permit. People do that. There are people who, even if they are not expecting anything, right? They don't have LMIA, they've not gotten any job offer under ROCIP that will make them eligible for the RCIP. They've not gotten a job offer under AIP. Like, they don't have anything. They just know that they don't have anything and their status is about to expire. They still go ahead and apply for the extension. The good luck, which I mentioned earlier, is that before you get that interim authorization letter to work for 6 months, it's a 6 months application, or sorry, 6 months duration. But now they've extended it to 1 year. So you have from the date you submit your application for extension and the day it will expire, that letter will expire. RCIP can make a decision before that date, right? But you have enough time to be able to push yourself into a place where you can get your or submit your application for PR, and then you update RCC about your work permit application. So people do that, but this is not, I just tell you what people do. Okay, so let me move on to the next question. I'm in Ontario, but not in any of those communities. So please try to secure a job offer from those communities. If you're in Ontario, try to secure a job offer in those communities. Don't be sleeping in Scarborough or Mississauga or where else, Niagara, when you know you're not getting anything from there. It's better to move. I won't say you should move immediately. I would say you should try to secure a job offer that will allow you move. If you secure a job offer that will allow you move, fine. And there's something else that I feel that people are not taking advantage of. You see, all these small remote communities where people do not want to go, where you have just 1,000 people, 2,000 people. Do you know that the employers in those places, they're always having LMIAs? Like, they have LMIAs in abundance in those places, those remote places where people don't want to go to, where they are looking for people. The employers there, they are always having consistent LMIAs. And the current LMIA requirement is that the unemployment rate of a particular community or a particular city must not exceed a certain threshold for them to approve an LMIA. Let me give an example. If an employer in Calgary wants to, I know this is off the RCIP topic, but I just want you guys to know, if an employer in Calgary wants to hire somebody through LMIA, if the unemployment rate in Calgary is more than 6%, ESDC will not approve that LMIA. If an employer in Toronto wants to hire somebody through LMIA, and if the unemployment rate in Toronto is more than 6%, ESDC will not approve the LMIA. But if an employer in, let's say, which community will I? Thompson. Let me use Thompson. Thompson is in the northern part. Thompson or Churchill. Let me use Churchill. The far end of Manitoba, all those remote where you have the polar bears. Let's say an employer in Thompson wants to hire somebody and the unemployment rate in Thompson is about 5.8%. ESDC would approve the LMIA. So the farther you go outside the city area, the more opportunities you get in terms of getting LMIA opportunities. But it is better to stick with a place where you will get LMIA opportunities plus pathway to having your PR. It doesn't make any sense you move to a place where it is easy for you to get an LMIA opportunity, but no PR pathway. It's more like shooting yourself in the foot. Okay, so I'll move on to the next question. I just graduated from a trades program drilling in Ontario. I just got a job in Vernon, BC in some trade. Is this a good move? I'll be having 3 years experience, but I couldn't get a job. Yeah, it's a good move. Trade drilling is a good move. So just check Vernon. I don't know whether my brother can help you. My brother has been communicating in the chats. If I don't know whether he can help you, right? So if you get a drilling job in Vernon, check RCIP Vernon whether they are looking for drilling occupations. If they are looking for drilling occupations, then you're good to go. The good thing is that you have 3 years PGWP, right? So within 3 years, you should be able to get your PR. Okay, so let me move on. Can my 1 year experience as a student count for the 1 year needed? No, your work experience as a student does not count in Canadian immigration, except if the experience is from a remote employer that is not a Canadian-based employer. So your 1-year work experience as a student does not count, sadly. Okay, how can one get a retail or nurse aid job in this community, as some of them do not publish emails? I mentioned that you should check their Facebook. They always have Facebook, and on Facebook you will see their number. You will see the contact email. So if you see a job offer and the employer does not have details on their website, or they don't have a website, check their Facebook. You will see Facebook, and on Facebook you will see a number. And with the number, they even advertise jobs more on Facebook. Most of these local employers advertise jobs more on Facebook than even on their website. So if you want updates and you want more information, recent information, go to their Facebook page. Okay, I'm working as early childers in one of the rural regions. I worry I can't get the EE education category invitation. So how long to get PR via RCIP? How long can leave? Thanks. Okay, so which province are you in so that I can tell you where you should go to? If you are education assistant or early childhood educator, and you cannot get PR through express entry, you should be targeting provinces and communities that are looking for early childhood educators and assistants. Like I said, I'm going to do the comprehensive information, which I would share the link. Just watch out for the link before this week runs out. Is one of my targets. Watch out for the link that I would share to everybody. Okay. So my brother, please, Christiana. Okay, so it's for that job offer. All right. Okay, somebody is saying they have experience as a mechanic. You have experience as a mechanic. Okay. The community RCIP website shows the various coverage areas. Yeah. So this is an additional information from a community member. Each RCIP community website shows their coverage areas. If you go to Brandon website, you will see where Brandon says this program covers this community, that community. If you go to Timmins website, I believe there should be a portion that says, although I've not really checked the details on Timmins, but check each community website to see if they publish the details of the smaller communities that they cover. Please, I studied in Manitoba. I have been living in Steinbach since 2023. I have 1-year certificate in business management. Yes, you are over eligible. If you are in Steinbach, you are over eligible. Just get a job offer from a designated employer. You are good to go. You are over eligible already. Please look for an employer that is designated so that you can apply under the Steinbach RCIP. Please, which area of discipline is eligible for the visa? Sorry, I don't understand your question. You have to be specific. There are different options. Okay, for us in BC, we are here to get the list of designated employers. Yes, BC has not published the list of designated employers yet. So just watch out. The comprehensive list that I'm going to do, once they publish it, I'll put it there. The whole idea is not for you to be jumping from one website to another. You just have all the information in one spot. You just scroll up and down and then see what you need to do and take things from there. Okay. So your thinking was that LMIA has been stopped. No, LMIA is still going on. Like, people are still getting LMIA. People are still getting LMIA and LMIA jobs. It's just dependent on where they are getting the LMIAs. If you are in the city center, if you are in Surrey, if you are in Vancouver, it will be difficult to get LMIA. But if you go to the northern part, let's say Kitimat, I'm mentioning Kitimat because I know there's somebody I know that is in Kitimat. If you go to Kitimat, if you go to, I don't want to mention Abbotsford. Abbotsford is close to Vancouver, right? So where else can I mention? One of those small Smithers, all those small communities that have maybe 5,000 people or less than 5,000 people or 1,000 people. You will see enough LMIAs there. But the problem is, those communities, are they under RCIP? If they're not under RCIP, that means it's a waste of your time. Do you want to choose LMIA over trying to get your PR? Right? LMIAs is you can get it round, but PR, there are just few communities that are participating. Okay. So let me answer this question. I'm a registered nurse in Nigeria. Which community would be more favorable for me to apply under RCIP? I also need a guide on how to go about it. So as a registered nurse, community that will be favorable. Sadly, you cannot get a job offer as a registered nurse because nursing is a regulated occupation in Canada. You need to come into Canada, write exams, or you must have done NCLEX, right? If you've done NCLEX, you've passed the NCLEX exam, and you're at the final stage, right? If the communities can accept NCLEX, if they can accept NCLEX, I'm using that word now, then fine, you can get a job offer. But of course, you still need to meet mandatory provincial requirement for you to get the license to practice. So if the community says, okay, you're a registered nurse outside, you're a registered nurse based in Nigeria, but you've passed NCLEX, and what it takes is for you to get your registration done when you come in, there are some communities that can accommodate that, especially if they know that, yes, within few months, you'll be able to get your license. But of course, you know, nursing, in fact, medical license in Canada is one area that I get upset. Am I speaking bad English? Upset. I say upset. Upset about Canada is one area that I get upset because I feel that they are wasting a lot of people's talent, medical professional talents in Canada by the duration they take in giving people license to practice. So yeah, try the jobs, try the communities that have advertised nursing and PSWs. If you get a job offer as a PSW, fine, right? You should focus on getting a job offer as a PSW. Now, if you get a job offer as a PSW, you're good to go. But if you want to get a job offer as a nurse, you might not. But if the community says they will accept your NCLEX and then maybe give you 2 months to get your license to practice, then you are in luck. But I've never seen that kind of situation, though. But there's no harm in trying. There's no harm in trying, right? So if you are able to get these things, then you get a job offer, you can actually apply for committee endorsement. Okay, if one has experience in 2 occupations, is it advisable to apply for the 2 occupations? Yes. If you have experience in 2 occupations, spread your options. Don't rely on just one occupation alone, because you might be relying on one occupation and you're not getting traction, whereas the other occupation will give you what you're looking for. So create 2 resumes, spread your options. If it is teaching occupation that you have plus maybe supply chain, I don't know whether there's any community that is looking for supply chain people. Part of it, you will see it on the analysis that I want to do. But don't limit yourself to just one occupation. If you have multiple occupations, as long as they are more than 1 year within the last 3 years from when the program was established, right? The program was established, was it this year or last year? Last year or this year? I think so. Last year, late last year, when the program was announced. RCIP was announced late last year. Now, between 2024, count backwards to 2020, is it 2021? 3 years. Your experience must be 3 years within when the program was established. That's what they're looking for. Okay. Someone that has 5 years experience in early childhood education, but degree in another discipline, how can she go about it? So if you have the experience, but your degree is in another discipline, you need the certification to show proof. There must be a certificate. There must be a PGDE certificate to show proof that your education, that your work experience matches your education. I have a background in education. I've crossed to HR since the past 6 years. Can I still take advantage of teacher route, or what do you advise? So what year did you cross to HR? The year you cross to HR will determine if you can switch or if you can maintain what you're doing. The year you crossed. For the ROCIP program, your experience must be within the last 3 years, right? For express entry, category-based selection, your experience must be within, I think, is it 3 years or 5 years? I'll check that in again. So if the program was established, I think it's 3 years as well, category-based selection. If the program was established in 2025, count 3 years backwards, 2025, 2024, 2023, 2022. So 2022 to 2025 is 3 years. That is how you know if your experience still qualifies. If your experience is outside this period, that means your experience does not qualify. Okay. Getting LMIA in Ontario was the best option or advice on how to get PR. LMIA, I already mentioned where you should focus your search. Go to those small communities in Ontario, those remote areas close to Kelowna, close to, I don't want to mention Thunder Bay. Thunder Bay is becoming popular. Like all those outskirt places where you have very few people, right? And then if your occupation is in demand, then fine. But if your occupation is not in demand, switch to another occupation. There are some people that have switched to occupations that are not, they don't really like it, but they have no choice because that is what is actually sustaining them, giving them LMIA, making them apply for PR. You know, so look at what you can do. Although Ontario for some time they've not even done a provincial nomination draw, so we are not looking at Ontario provincial nomination for some time now. We are looking at the RCIP communities in Ontario. So look out for those RCIP communities: Timmins, Sudbury, Thunder Bay, North Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, 5 of them. I think they added one more French community, which I can't remember, but look out for those communities. Okay, yeah, Claresum. Is it Claresum? I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it well. Claresum or Claresum, anyone. Claresum in Alberta is less than 4,000 people. Yes, that's the truth. Right? That's the truth. It's less than 4,000 people. But how many designated employers are there? Like how many employers have indicated interest in Claresum? And how many people are they taking? They said they were going to take only 30 people this year, if I remember. Yes, I remember very well now. Claresum said they are only going to, is it Claresum or Brandon? I think it's Claresum. They said they're going to take only 30 people this year for 2025, which is a very small number. Right? I feel it's a very small number compared to the number of people that are looking for ways to become permanent residents, and for them to limit the number of people. Yeah, it's 30. I said it. It's 30 allocations. So they're only taking 30 people this year. 30, just 30. Okay, so see, free. Our committee members are advertising lots of opportunities during this live session. See, lots of LMIA here in Kelowna. Thank you, Gereskoski. Thank you so much for giving us this expo. Lots of LMIA in Kelowna. So if you're in British Columbia, Kelowna is also one of the ROCIP community designate. They've not mentioned their designated employers yet. So if you get a job offer there from an employer that is willing to support you or extend your work permit with LMIA, you are in luck. But of course, you know, LMIA is usually closed work permit. Sure, you know. That is for those whose status is about to expire. If your status is about to expire and you don't have any other option, but you get a job offer in Kelowna, fine, you're good to go, right? So lots of LMI opportunities in Kelowna. Please take advantage. Search for job offers or search for employers there in Kelowna. All right. So that's why I like our community. We are sharing to help ourselves. We are sharing information to help ourselves. Live job was advertised during this session. Opportunity in Kelowna, LMI opportunity in Kelowna. If there's any opportunity to, I will let you know. But of course, you know, I am inundated with a lot of things. I wish I can really have my time to do the things I really love to do, which is dishing out lots of opportunities. But of course, clients will be dragging me here and there. Oh, you've not responded to my email. Oh, you've not done this, you've not done that. Okay, so I think we are coming to the end of our live session today, and I'm very excited. I'm really happy that this session took place. It's been a while I did a live. I felt ill at some point, and I was just like, everything should just hang. Let me just respect myself for now and get myself better. But I'm happy, and I'm just thinking if I should. It's subject to the things I do anyway. But I'm thinking that I should come on live more often, because it's better for me to come on live than for me to sit down and create a YouTube video. I don't have the time for YouTube videos. It's looking like I don't have the time for YouTube videos anymore. The ones I created, I've not even edited them to upload. That's as bad as that. I've created like 3 videos, but I've not edited them to upload. But if it's live, I can just come in, we talk, we gist, and that's it. Okay, so since I don't have any more questions, somebody say, please, can I get a letter by Keloda? I'm in Nigeria. I been make gonna help my life. The Canada journey don't they tire me? My sister, please. The Canada journey, even people in Canada is tiring for everybody. And honestly, I want to say kudos to all of you who came in as students, who are holding your heads up, like telling yourself that you will get your PR. I just want to say kudos to you guys, because you guys are the real MVPs. You know, for those of us who came in as permanent residents, a lot of people do not really understand. I understand your struggle because I'm part of, bringing people in. So I know what a lot of people face, and especially trying to get status this period, not before where it was easy. It was looking like very, very easy, but now it's like there's a lot of battles one has to fight to get your status. But I just believe strongly that you all will somehow get your status. I believe strongly, and anything I can do to push out more information for people, I'll do that, so that everybody can as well, take benefit from it and get your status as fast as possible. I know that this timing is looking dull, because too many election has come and gone. Yay, we have our new prime minister. Yay. But then I'm happy that the liberals are back in power. So whatever they started, status quo is maintained, right? If it was a change in government, that means we'll be talking another story now. Everybody will be running helter-skelter now, thinking of what to do. But because the Liberal Party still maintain power, there's hope. There's hope that people will get their status. There's hope that immigration will continue. There's hope that the changes that they've implemented will remain the same. They will not come up with new changes to reduce slots and all of that. Okay, so I'll try to respond. Please don't be offended. Let me answer this one. I have a visitor's visa. My wife just gave birth in Canada. What can I do to legalize your stay? Well, what you can do to legalize your stay is try to secure a job offer from any of the RCIP communities. If you can get a job offer from any of the RCIP communities, then you can apply for PR directly. That's the only way. Or you get an LMIA job offer. Get an LMIA job offer, or get a job offer from RCIP committees. RCIP committees job offer is LMIA exempt. LMIA job offer, of course, the employer has to pay 1,000 Canadian dollars. And try to stay away from people who will charge you an arm and a leg for LMIA. It doesn't make any sense as far as I'm concerned. Instead, use that money and switch to study permit. Invest in yourself, invest in your education, than paying somebody a ridiculous amount for LMIA, which does not make any sense. Okay, so that's my best advice. Get an LMIA job offer. Like I said, do not pay any ridiculous amount for LMIA. It does not make any sense. If you want free LMIA, look for LMIAs in those small remote communities. Thank God one of our committee member suggested Kelowna, mentioned Kelowna, that there's enough LMIA in Kelowna. So I would say you should target your job search in Kelowna to get an LMIA job offer. Or look for RCIP communities job offer that is LMIA exempt. And that way you get to apply for PR without actually applying for LMIA. All right, I think that's the end. Yes, Kelowna, Gereskoski. Thank you so much for that update. Correct update. Okay, so today is a good day. Oh, I'm very happy. Today is a very good day, and I'm very happy that we were able to have this. Thank you so much for your time, taking your time from your very busy schedule to be part of this session. And I am very happy that you all joined me this evening from wherever you are. I'm trying to take note of that information that my brother gave, which is ding tone. If you're going to call employers from outside Canada, remember that the name of the app is called Ding Tone. That's the name of the app. So, yeah. Okay, thank you so much. And in the absence of any other questions, I would say I want to wish you a very happy Sunday, a blessed week, a winning week. Win, you must win this week. All the good things of this life, whether the devil likes it or not, you will win. Whether life wants to life, you will win. You will come out of it. Whatever is troubling you, is stressing your life, you will come out of it. Every problem has, according to my mother, every problem must have an expiry date, and the expiry date will be this week. Amen. Amen. Okay, I should talk about ready. Okay, no problem. I'll talk about ready. All right, thank you so much, and have a beautiful Sunday. Thank you so much.